And I don't even know where to start. Somebody once asked me one time, Scott, why are you so open to talk about your flaws and your failures all the time? And I responded to him, I said, because if other people can see that I'm okay, that I've accepted that I'm not perfect, that I'm imperfect, then maybe, and I'm willing to talk about my failures and my flaws, then maybe whatever it is they're going through, maybe that might help them get through it. Why should anybody listen to me about standards? Nobody should listen to me about anything, really. All I'm doing is trying to tell you and show you what has worked and working for me. How I've been able to implement little things, little standards, and have seen massive improvement in the quality of my life. And being consistent with that, it seems like it's only getting better. And I anticipate that it will only get better. But this question makes it seem like Navy SEALs and rich CEOs are the only ones that have their shit together. That standards consistently followed only lead to that, or like they're not some people that don't have it together and that are dealing with struggles and their own personal battles and demons that they deal with. Like, just because you have money or you are military trained doesn't mean that your quality of life is good, that it makes you happy, that it makes you a better man, a better person, that it makes you a good man. I can tell you that I was on the verge, and I'm talking leaning over the cliff of the edge, about to get a divorce. I thought, my marriage was over, and I thought my family was going to be split and broken apart. And when I was able to look myself in the mirror and take full accountability of my actions and everything else around, own it, and then put in the specific intent to make it better, regardless how I felt or what I thought, who was right, who was wrong. I'm not going to say that it changed overnight, but it shifted pretty damn quick. What was the specific moment that I realized being a good guy wasn't enough to save me? I don't really know if there's a specific moment. I mentioned my marriage in the previous question, but I realized, and I'm not going to be able to pinpoint anything down to a specific moment, but being a nice guy, being a compliant guy, being a yes man doesn't make you a leader. It won't make you a leader. It actually makes you the opposite. It makes you a follower. And I have the intent to try to lead by example, whether that be at home, whether that be at work, whether that be anywhere. I have a standard. I have morals. I have a code of honor that I live by. And sometimes that requires not being a nice guy. I always said that just because you have the right to do something doesn't mean that it is right. So I always like to stand 10 toes down. I always like to stand my ground. Again, back in my younger days, I could definitely remember myself being more compliant, more nice. So I don't know if I could pinpoint it to a specific moment. The single biggest lie. I think probably the biggest lie I kept telling myself was, it'll happen. It'll come. It's meant to be. It'll fall in my lap. And obviously that never happened. Believing that the world owes you something, that destiny and fate is always going to work out in your favor. That was probably the biggest lie I told myself, especially as a young man. I always thought I was destined for greatness and that fate would lead me in the right direction. But that's not how it works. You have to grind, you have to work, you have to earn it. And you can't just freestyle your days. Like if I'd have known when I was younger, if you could, like systems, when you implement systems into your life, into your routine, into your daily habits. And what I mean by systems is structures, consistent, boring routines, daily habits, stuff you don't negotiate with, the non-negotiables. But yeah, thinking that the world owed me something. because I'm not owed anything. Well, first of all, I'm not building a brand about greatness. I'm building a brand around a structured standard. And my thoughts are, if anybody who thinks and sees me in my wonderful Sports Edition Camry that I haven't made it, I guess it depends on your perspective. I mean, I've heard of stories all the time and seen, plenty of people over the course of history that project themselves and display themselves as a man, as a person who has it all figured out, when ultimately they are decaying inside. They can't stand themselves. What did Biggie say? More money, more problems. Jim Carrey once said, I wish that everybody in the world could be rich at least once, so then they could see that that's not what they actually want. I might have misquoted that, but that's the gist of it. And it's true. Like, I've never been one about presenting myself to others with what I have to make anyone either think more highly of me or myself think more highly of me to make me feel better. Do I think of myself as a fraud? No, because I don't have it figured out. I'm still figuring it out now. I'm in the trenches with whoever wants to take this walk with me. So no, I do not. And I don't, let's say I'm driving my Camry, and somebody pulls up beside me in a Lambo or a big ass, expensive truck, or, $500,000 $1 million cars. I don't care. I don't care about none of that. No, my mindset is not fixated on the materialistic things of this world. And as far as being a fraud of anything, I'm far from that. I am ruthlessly and bluntly honest about everything that comes out of my mouth, with everything that comes out of my mouth. So whether you like what I say or whether you don't, whether you like what I do or whether you don't, I'm always going to be me. I'm always going to be real. I don't know about being a nice guy costing me opportunities. I know running my damn mouth cost me opportunities. I mean, the first thing I think of is being a nice guy back in my younger days costing me, opportunities with, the girlfriends and the stuff of that sort. I honestly don't know, again, because I think it goes back to the old question, being able to pinpoint, it's been so long because, again, I stand on my core values, and so I'm the type of person that if an opportunity is missed because of me being me, then so be it, I don't know if there were any opportunities missed because I can only control what I can control, and so I don't try to harp or replay a lot of stuff or let me rephrase it, harp and then replay a lot of stuff and go over it again. So if it did cost me, and if me being nice and keeping my mouth shut at some point in time cost me something, so be it, because I kind of like where I'm at right now. If my son were to become the man that I am right now, absolutely I'd be proud. I know I'm not perfect. I know he's not going to be perfect. I think the thing is I would rather, if I had a preference, I would rather him be like me in his early 20s or in his late teens as a young man than to, get to being that at the age that I am right now. I wish I could have been more like this and had this way of thinking and mindset back in, 20 years ago. So yeah, I would be proud of him because I am simply just trying to get better today than I was yesterday. And that's all I can ask of him, is to live, learn, expect to fail, and try to do better tomorrow. And to answer the second part of that question, am I still trying to become the man that I want him to copy? Absolutely. Absolutely, because of what I just said. I am trying to be better tomorrow than I was today. I am trying to be better today than I was yesterday. So I fuck up, I fail, but I own that shit. And the kids know it. I know they see it, I apologize to them if I have done something wrong, as far as maybe yell too loud or got mad with, their mom, my wife. If I don't know. But yeah, I'm steadily trying to become the man that I want him to emulate. Absolutely. It has to be the excuses. It has to be the finger pointing. Oh, well, this has happened to me because of that, or I'm where I am because of them, or our marriage is failing because she doesn't, whatever. When you realize that you are exactly where you are because of the choices you did or did not make, there is a sense of freedom that comes with that, because once you accept that and you realize that that is true, that is fact, then you can own it, and you now know that, okay, everything is in my hands. I have the power to create my reality. And it's true. It is so true. Once I got rid of the excuses and I was honest with myself and accountable for everything, well, maybe not like that, but things really started to change. More so specifically in the home. I try to do that all the time. I try to do it at work, I'm a career bartender. I've been bartending for 20 years, and I've never been one to think that I know it all, but I do have a certain level of confidence because I'm good at my job. But with that being said, I still fuck up. I still get shit wrong, and it's just part of life. It's part of being human. But when you realize that you fuck up, instead of trying to save face and make excuses to, well, this person said that, whatever, you're honest with yourself, and you know that you just fucked up. You hold yourself accountable, and then you own it. And so when situations like that happen with me, I'm like, I apologize almost instantly to whoever it may be. Anybody in the home, anybody at work, anybody outside. The other day I pulled out that didn't see any traffic coming, started the turn. Next thing you know, this car's right there. I didn't see it. I didn't make an excuse saying, you asshole, you blah, blah. No, I was like, oh shit, my bad. But excuses for sure. I don't know if I've ever said that failure is negotiating, but in order to be successful, you have to fail. In order to do something right, in order to be good at anything, specifically to be great at anything, you are going to have to fail. You're going to have to fail. My thing is negotiating, drifting, coasting, slacking. The negotiation is that good angel, bad devil on your shoulder, your conscience. And the key is to stop the negotiation, shut it down, make the right decision. Just make the right decision. Make the decision you have to do. I mean, shit, I negotiate all of the time with myself because we are emotional creatures. And sometimes I feel tired. Sometimes I feel exhausted. Sometimes I feel sad. Sometimes I feel angry. The key, again, is to just make the right decision. Not that you ever won't make bad decisions or the wrong decision. So don't be so fixated on failing per se. Be fixated on correcting the slip, the drift, the mistake, the wrong decision. Fixate on that. Yeah, I think the one thing that keeps me awake at 3 a.m. is I feel like I'm running out of time. The days go by faster, they're shorter. What keeps me up at 3 a.m. is exactly that. I'm running out of time. So if I am literally up at 3 a.m., I'm probably putting in some work. I'm probably doing some research. I'm probably coming up with some ideas for videos because of that. Because I don't know if tomorrow is promised. Because I have twins on the way and now even more responsibility. Time is on your side. No, it's not. I don't think I can promise you anything. Anybody that's willing to do that. All I can say and do and show you is what has worked for me, in hopes that this might be able to help somebody like me, or not even like me, somebody else, somebody that just needs the extra nudge, somebody that needs a little bit more of a clearer path to get that mindset that they have always wanted. The slogan goes from underrated to undeniable. The whole goal of this, not of this, but of the idea of the brand, is to get to that final form, that final stage of where you want to be, where you can look in the mirror and have respect for yourself and not be ashamed of who you are. I can't promise you anything. All I can do is show you that it works.